vengeance.
Everyone who loves superheroes is excited for the upcoming DC movies slated for release in 2025 and 2026. With James Gunn at the helm, fans can expect a fresh take on iconic characters. From David Corenswet donning the cape in Superman to Millie Alcock bringing Supergirl to life, these films are set to kick off a new era in the DC universe. Let's dive into the details of these highly anticipated films and what we can expect from them. Superman, July 11, 2025. James Gunn's Superman has finished filming, and while we have to wait until next year for David Corenswet to debut as the Man of Steel, it's not too far off. With a 2025 release date, there's still plenty to be excited about. We've already gotten some behind-the-scenes peeks, plus a first official look at Corenswet in the iconic blue and red suit. Alongside him, the movie, which kicks off Gunn's DCU Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, also stars Rachel Brosnahan, known for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. There's a lot more casting info and sneak peeks to dive into. We don't know a ton about the plot of James Gunn's Superman just yet, but we do have some basics. The movie will focus on a young Clark Kent working as a reporter at the Daily Planet, and it'll explore how he balances his Kryptonian and human sides. It's not an origin story, though. Beyond that, things are still a bit of a mystery. With the cast involved, it seems likely that Lex Luthor will be one of the villains, and we can expect some other key DC characters to show up too. As for inspiration, it seems the movie draws from comics like Superman for All Seasons and All-Star Superman, but the story is still very much its own thing. Gunn even shared a behind-the-scenes photo of All-Star Superman being read on set. On April 18, 2024, he posted a tribute to Superman's creators, celebrating how the character inspires people, not just through his powers, but through his character and determination to always do the right thing. The Superman cast is packed with talent. Alongside David Corenswet as Superman, we've got Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. The lineup also includes Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Eddie Cathegi as Mr. Terrific, and Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. Wendell Pierce will play Perry White, while Pruitt Taylor Vince and Neva Howell will appear as Jonathan and Martha Kent. Sean Gunn has been cast as Maxwell Lord in the DCU, although it's unclear if he'll appear in Superman. Similarly, House of the Dragon's Millie Alcock will play Supergirl, but it's not confirmed if she'll show up in this film either. Will Reeve, the youngest son of the late Christopher Reeve, is set for a special cameo as a TV reporter. It would be interesting to see if he crosses paths with Clark Kent, a nod to his father's iconic portrayal of Superman in the late 70s and 80s. Recently, James Gunn shared a photo of the main cast, featuring a bald Nicholas Hoult fully embracing his role as Lex Luthor. James Gunn marked Superman's birthday by sharing a small sneak peek of the new Superman suit. While we don't get much from the reveal, the iconic S logo is still there, but it seems to be made of fabric this time. The design of the S also has a slight resemblance to the version seen in Mark Waid and Alex Ross's Kingdom Come comic. At CinemaCon, a new logo for the Superman film was unveiled, featuring a metallic look with bright yellow and red, and an S that tapers off at the base. By May 2024, we got an even better glimpse of David Corenswet in costume, thanks to a pic James Gunn shared on Threads. The image shows a beat-up and dirty Clark Kent pulling on one of his red boots while chaos erupts in the skies over Metropolis outside. Maybe tie those laces faster, Soups. There's speculation that the chaos could involve Solaris the Tyrant's son, a villain from DC 1 Million, but nothing's confirmed yet. James Gunn recently shared some encouraging news about the VFX process for the upcoming DC Universe films, including Superman and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. With Superman currently in post-production, Gunn addressed the industry concerns about VFX workers being overworked and underpaid. In a post on Threads, he emphasized his commitment to treating VFX artists with respect and allowing them the time needed to produce high-quality work. He said, "If you do some research, you'll see my films have always taken a different approach. I've always given my VFX artist collaborators the time to do their jobs properly and the respect they deserve. The quality of the VFX in those films is uniformly great because of it. And because of my friends at Weta, Framestore, ILM, and more are amazingly talented. This is why we wrapped on Superman a year before release, and why they've been hard at work on many shots for months before that. It's why we start hardly editing during the shoot. It's why I prepare so vigorously and why we only shoot finished screenplays. And Supergirl, which I'm not directing, is being handled the same way. I can't praise the VFX artists that help us create magic enough. Gunn's approach just goes to show his dedication to high-quality production and respect for the creative team, setting a positive tone for the future of the DC Universe. Now, if you are wondering if we will see Henry Cavill as Superman, don't. Superman is the first film in the new DCU, kicking off Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, which is completely separate from the old DCEU. The DCEU began with Man of Steel, starring Henry Cavill, and ends with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. James Gunn and Peter Safran's rebooted DC Universe has no ties to the old films, but it is connected to the rest of the new DCU, starting with the animated show Creature Commandos on Max. As for Henry Cavill, he played Superman in the DCEU, and after his cameo in Black Adam, he announced his return to the role. However, he's no longer the Man of Steel in this new universe. You can check out our full breakdown on what happened with Cavill's Superman through the link. Watchmen Chapter 2. Watchmen Chapter 2 is the upcoming second part of the two-part animated adaptation of Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' iconic 1987 comic book. This project marks the third major adaptation of the series, following Zack Snyder's 2009 film and HBO's 2019 series, both titled Watchmen. Distributed by Warner Brothers, the official synopsis for the duology outlines its narrative. Watchmen Chapter 1 was released for rent and purchase on Prime Video, Apple TV, and Fandango at Home on August 13, 2024, with a physical Blu-ray release set for August 27, 2024. While the exact release date for Watchmen Chapter 2 is still unknown, a report from Empire Magazine on June 14, 2024 suggests it may arrive sometime in 2025. We are guessing it's going to be between Superman and Supergirl. The Watchmen animated films are based on the acclaimed comics by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, which originally garnered significant attention for their critical examination of the superhero genre. Released in 1987, the comics are noted for their darker tone compared to the more optimistic Silver Age comics that previously dominated the market. The storyline of Watchmen, which is being adapted into the Watchmen Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 duology, involves superheroes who are intertwined with controversial actions taken by the U.S. government, such as the Vietnam War. It explores the potential dangers posed by unstable and extremist superheroes, offering a complex narrative that challenges traditional superhero tropes. The Watchmen comics have developed a dedicated cult following, sustaining public interest long after their initial release. This enduring appeal has led to multiple adaptations since 2009, including the recent animated films, reflecting the story's lasting impact on popular culture. The voice cast for the Watchmen Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 duology features a talented lineup. Matthew Rhys voices Night Owl Dan Dreiberg, while Katie Sackhoff takes on the role of Silk Spectre Laurie Juspizik. Titus Welliver lends his voice to Rorschach Walter Kovacs, and Troy Baker portrays Ozymandias Adrian Veidt. Rick D. Wasserman voices the comedian Edward Blake, and Kerry Walgren plays Janie Slater. Adrian Barbeau voices the original Silk Spectre Sally Jupiter, with Corey Burton as Captain Metropolis and Michael Severus as Dr. Manhattan Jonathan Osterman. Jeffrey Combs plays Moloch Edward Jacoby, while John Marshall Jones voices Hooded Justice. Yuri Lowenthal takes on Wally Weaver, and Jeff Pearson voices Night Owl Hollis Mason. Additionally, Gray Delisle, Kelly Hu, Max Koch, Phil Lamar, Dwight Schultz, and Jason Spizak will also appear in undisclosed roles. Chapter 2 will continue directly from the cliffhanger ending of Chapter 1, which unveiled several significant plot twists in its final moments. The first chapter opens with the murder of the comedian, a brutal enforcer for the United States government, killed by an unknown assailant. Vigilante Rorschach begins investigating the comedian's death, convinced it's part of a larger conspiracy lurking in the shadows. As his investigation unfolds, he recruits other superheroes, including Dan Dreiberg and Laurie Juspizik, who take on the roles of Night Owl and Silk Spectre. The narrative also delves into the lives of pivotal characters like Dr. Manhattan, who has become detached from his humanity after gaining superpowers, and Adrian Veidt, also known as Ozymandias, a wealthy and revered superhero whose connection to the conspiracy becomes increasingly apparent as the story progresses. In Chapter 2, one of the key figures Rorschach pursues in his investigation of the comedian's murder is Edward Jacoby, also known as Moloch. Rorschach's approach to extracting information from Jacoby is aggressive, and he threatens physical harm if Jacoby withholds any secrets. However, when Rorschach visits Jacoby one night, he discovers that Jacoby has been murdered. Shortly thereafter, the police invade Jacoby's home, leading to a confrontation with Rorschach that results in his overpowering and subsequent arrest. A voiceover in the concluding moments of Chapter 1 reveals that Ozymandias orchestrated Jacoby's murder and attempted to frame Rorschach to eliminate him from the equation. Watchmen Chapter 2 will pick up from this cliffhanger, delving into the intricate nature of Ozymandias' plan and how the various characters will intertwine with it. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, June 26, 2026. You've probably heard the buzz around Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow recently. There's been a lot of chatter, from the DCEU's Supergirl actress offering advice to her DCU replacement, to James Gunn giving an update on the upcoming Superman and Supergirl movies after some VFX concerns. On the brighter side, there's speculation that the new Supergirl costume might take inspiration from David Corenswit's Superman suit. When James Gunn became co-CEO of DC Studios with Peter Safran, they made some big changes, including announcing Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow for the new DC Universe. Since Man of Steel in 2013, the DCEU has had its share of tone issues and behind-the-scenes challenges, but the new DCU aims to bring a fresh approach to the superhero franchise, with Gunn's vision promising a long-awaited Supergirl film and other exciting projects. Supergirl might not be the most iconic DC hero, but she hasn't really had her big moment yet. The 1984 Supergirl movie was a critical flop and bombed at the box office. She did find some success on TV with the CW's Supergirl, which ran for 6 seasons, but that was a different kind of production. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a chance to finally give the character the attention she deserves, while expanding DC Universe's Chapter 1 in a meaningful way. For anyone who missed it, the latest update on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow came on May 14, 2024, when it was announced that the film is slated for release on June 26, 2026. With that date set, production is expected to pick up soon, so fans won't have to wait too long for more updates. Back on January 29, 2024, James Gunn confirmed that Millie Alcock had been cast as Supergirl, and she shared her excitement about taking on the role. Alcock was chosen after being a top contender alongside Meg Donnelly, and her previous performances hint that she'll bring a strong, compelling version of Kara Zor-El to life on screen. Back in November 2023, James Gunn announced that Anna Nogueira would be writing the screenplay for Supergirl. He praised her adaptation, saying, "Anna is an amazing writer whose screenplay adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow is above and beyond anything I hoped it would be. We're excited to be moving forward on this unique take on Supergirl in this beautiful star-spanning tale." Nogueira was initially set to write a Supergirl script after The Flash, which featured Sasha Calle's version of the character, but that project was scrapped during the DCEU's transition into the DC Universe. Her involvement in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a promising sign that her vision for the film could be something special. On another note, Sasha Calle, who portrayed Supergirl in The Flash, recently shared her thoughts on Millie Alcock taking over as Kara Zor-El in the upcoming movie. Calle had nothing but praise for Alcock, encouraging her to embrace the role. In an interview with IndieWire, she said, "Have so much fun, you look so badass, just fucking kill it and have fun." While Calle's portrayal of Supergirl was brief and part of a timeline changed by Barry Allen's time travel, Alcock's Supergirl will bring a fresh perspective. Calle's Supergirl came from a reality where Kal-El never became a hero and died as a baby due to Barry's time meddling. In contrast, Alcock's Supergirl will coexist with Superman, played by David Corenswit, and will be influenced by the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic. Gunn has hinted that this version of Supergirl will be darker and more intense, setting the stage for a different kind of story. While Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow may seem like it would have a lighter tone compared to films like Batman the Brave and the Bold and Swamp Thing, it could delve into some intense themes. James Gunn's remarks about the film indicate a willingness to explore darker narratives. He described this version of Supergirl as being raised on a rock a chip off of Krypton, who has experienced the traumatic deaths of those around her in horrific ways before arriving on Earth. Gunn suggested that this Supergirl will be quite different from the more familiar portrayals, hinting at a complex and potentially darker storyline that explores her character's depth and struggles. Gunn referenced comic book writer Tom King, the creator of the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic, suggesting that the film will likely draw heavily from this acclaimed story. Published in 2022, the comic follows Supergirl as she teams up with an alien girl seeking revenge after her planet is destroyed. It also features a cute supernatural animal, which raises the possibility of Crypto the dog making an appearance in the film. While it's unlikely that Supergirl will show up in Gunn's Superman movie, there is potential for Superman to have a role in Woman of Tomorrow. Gunn highlighted the contrast between Superman, who was raised by loving parents from infancy, and Supergirl, who was not, hinting at possible interactions between the two characters. This exploration of their differing backgrounds could open up exciting new dimensions for both characters and their places in the DC universe. Although James Gunn dismissed rumors of Millie Alcock being involved in the production of Superman, he hasn't completely ruled out the possibility of Supergirl appearing in the film. If Kara does make an appearance, it could be revealed in a post-credit scene or a surprise cameo. However, it's more likely that DC Studios will unveil Alcock's Supergirl costume through a promotional image or video, similar to the introduction of David Corenswit's Superman. Since filming for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is expected to begin before Superman hits theaters in July, DC may want to showcase Alcock's look to prevent leaks and build anticipation. While the exact timing of this reveal remains uncertain, it's certainly something for fans to keep an eye on as production progresses. The Batman Part 2, October 2, 2026. After a delay, The Batman Part 2 is officially in the works. If you enjoyed Matt Reeves' interpretation of the Dark Knight in the 2022 film, you're likely just as excited as I am to see where this next chapter will lead. This sequel is categorized under the DC Elseworlds projects, meaning it's set in its own distinct universe, separate from the main DC universe. So there's no need to worry about any crossover confusion. This Batman is carving out his own path. If you're curious about whether Robert Pattinson will reprise his role as Bruce Wayne, the answer is a big yes. Pattinson truly captured that darker, more brooding essence of Batman in the first film, and I can't wait to see how he evolves the character in the sequel. He brought a fresh, gritty vibe to the role, and it's exciting to think about where Matt Reeves will take him next. One of the most exciting parts of The Batman Part 2 is its connection to the HBO Max series centered on the Penguin, which is already looking good. This entire universe that Matt Reeves is building is starting to take shape. The Penguin series delves deeper into Gotham's underworld, and it will be fascinating to see how it intertwines with the events of the films. Additionally, the Riddler will be making a return, and there are rumors of a new take on the Joker being involved. If you thought the first movie had a creepy, intense vibe, just imagine the heightened atmosphere with these two villains back in the mix. And speaking of villains, there's been plenty of speculation about the storyline for The Batman Part 2. One of the prominent theories is that the film could adapt the No Man's Land storyline from the comics. For those who might not be familiar, No Man's Land is an epic arc where Gotham City is cut off from the rest of the world after a devastating earthquake, transforming the entire city into a chaotic battleground. If Matt Reeves chooses to explore this direction, we can expect some seriously intense action and drama. Gotham was already portrayed as a dark and dangerous place in the first film, but turning it into a literal war zone would elevate the stakes to a whole new level. The idea of Batman navigating a city in complete disarray, battling not just criminals but the very environment around him, could lead to some truly gripping storytelling. It will be exciting to see how this potential storyline unfolds. Andy Serkis, who portrayed Alfred Pennyworth, confirmed that production is expected to start in early 2025. While we still have some time before it hits theaters, it's exciting to know that the wheels are starting to turn on this project. Reeves and his team are likely crafting something epic right now. Well, that's it. Which upcoming film are you most looking forward to? Superman or Supergirl? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to get updated regularly with the latest update. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you at the next one.